Hello friends! You're on the Last Days channel. Thank you so much for your engagement and support. And so, a review of events for December 12th and 13th. Gaza Strip, Palestine. The situation in the Gaza Strip, Palestine, is critical today. Empty shelves, lack of drinking water, medicine, and unsanitary conditions are causing serious concerns. Locals report that it is almost impossible to get any food at all at the moment. The supply of goods to the area has been completely cut off. All supplies have been depleted and people literally have nothing to eat. The United Nations is sounding the alarm and says that specialists are doing everything possible to help people in this difficult situation. However, the situation is getting worse by the hour. There is no electricity in the city, so cooking food requires building a fire. Buying food is possible only on the black market and for huge sums of money. For example, a kilogram of potatoes costs $3.5. It is unclear where and how people can get such money. Many people in the Gaza Strip are paid irregular salaries, but they have to survive somehow. Aid is reaching Gaza, but it is not reaching all those in need, media reports say. The situation requires urgent measures and solutions to prevent a humanitarian catastrophe in the region. Voronezh, Russia. Snowfall has not stopped for 4 days in Voronezh. The city is literally bogged down in snow. Due to the large amount of precipitation, 84 buses could not go on the line. Ice and snow drifts have formed on the roads, which makes it impossible to move public transportation. Some roads are temporarily blocked. Local residents say that such a snowfall is very rare here. The snowdrifts are so high that cars get stuck in yards. Utility services are doing everything possible to eliminate the consequences of heavy snowfall. All equipment is brought out for round-the-clock cleaning. Residents are asked not to leave cars on the roadway and not to interfere with snow removal. Forecasts of forecasters are disappointing. Snow will continue to fall for several more days. The authorities urge citizens to be careful and not to go out on the streets without an emergency. Chile, South America. Forest fires continue in Chile, which have already managed to harm the population and the environment. In the city of Limache suffered 7 people, and the flames have scorched more than 2,000 hectares of land. Despite the efforts of emergency services, the fires have yet to be extinguished. On Sunday, about 50 fires raged in 3 central regions of Chile, some of which have already been extinguished, but 10 are still raging. The most difficult situation is in the Valparaiso region, where 2 large fires have been registered. All emergency services have been put on high alert. Experts note that not only heat and drought, but also deliberate arson is to blame. Natural fires in Chile are not rare. Only last year the fire destroyed more than 400,000 hectares of land in the country, and at least 25 people died. The authorities have allocated twice as much money to fight forest fires as last year, but this does not help prevent new ignitions. Kamchatka, Russia. Wet snow and rain fell on Kamchatka. Because of this cyclone, rivers formed on the roads. Several districts of the peninsula were flooded. For 12 hours, 30 millimeters of precipitation fell. Due to high temperatures, the snow melted almost immediately, and the capital of Kamchatka turned into a city on water. In order to drain the roads, the public utility workers had to put on wetsuits and clean storm drains knee-deep in slush. All special equipment was involved in street cleaning. In the near future in the region will be sharply colder, and it may lead to ice. In view of this, schools cancel classes, and drivers are advised to refrain from traveling by private vehicles. Korai, Altai region. Abnormal cold came to one of the villages in the Altai Republic, setting an unofficial record. In the village of Korai, located in the Kashygatsky district of the Republic, came severe cold. In the morning, the thermometers of local residents showed the value of air temperature on the street minus 60 degrees. Montignac-Lascaux, France. The town of Montignac-Lascaux in France has experienced one of the most powerful floods in the last few years. The local river overflowed its banks, flooding streets, highways, and the first floors of houses. Now it is possible to move around only by boat. Volunteers and residents themselves are using all means to stop the flooding wherever possible. Emergency services have declared a yellow weather danger level. In some areas, the water level may reach 5 meters. In case the water does not recede in the coming days, all residents are asked to be ready to evacuate. No information about the dead and injured has not yet been received. Rescuers are trying to get into remote villages to make sure that people are not blocked and do not need help. Veracruz, Mexico. Tropical storm Franklin hit the coast of the eastern Mexican state of Veracruz with heavy rain and wind. Wind speeds reached 100 kilometers per hour. About 1,000 people were evacuated. Dozens of trees, billboards, and other structures fell because of the strong wind. Entire neighborhoods were de-energized due to broken power lines. Mexican authorities also warned of heavy rains that the storm will bring. They can cause serious flooding, so the region has raised the danger level to red. The day before, due to the threat of the Bobos River overflowing, classes are still canceled and schools out of precaution. The storm is expected to leave the state of Veracruz soon and lose strength. There is no information about the deaths and injuries. Zhengzhou, China. Heavy snowfall in northern China has suspended train service, canceled classes in schools, and closed roads. In Zhengzhou, capital of Hunan province, a red alert level was declared due to the blizzard. The airport was closed for 24 hours. Snowfall and ice caused the closure of more than 100 road sections in 12 provinces as of the morning of December 12 across most of China, except for mountainous and northeastern areas. It was the first significant snowfall this year. Snow also fell in Beijing. About 100 bus routes were suspended in the city. According to the forecast, the snowfall will continue until Thursday. For the capital of the People's Republic of China, where there is usually no precipitation in December and winters are almost snowless, this is an abnormal phenomenon. Maceió, Brazil. In Brazil, in the city of Maceió, there was a partial collapse of an abandoned salt mine. This threatens a major environmental disaster. The mine was dug under the shoreline, causing the retreating soil to go underwater. Since the end of November, the surface has sagged by more than 2 meters. There is no danger to people, as the area, which once housed 55,000 people, has been completely evacuated. But there is an environmental risk. If undeveloped areas of the deposit are flooded, a huge amount of salt could enter the coastal zone and groundwater, causing significant damage to the environment. Kingsbridge, Bronx, New York. A fire broke out in the Kingsbridge neighborhood of the Bronx early Wednesday morning, affecting several businesses. According to the fire department, the blaze started around 3:30 a.m. at Bunny's Deli Cold Cut City store at West 231st Street and Broadway. Videos posted on the Citizen app show thick black smoke rising into the air and firefighters trying to put out the fire. One person was injured in the fire, who suffered minor injuries and requires medical attention. 7 businesses in the area were destroyed or sustained fire and water damage, including a butcher store, a seafood market, a pizzeria, a flower store, a cleaning company, a hair salon and a tax preparation business. Authorities are asking residents to stay away from the fire and close their windows for their safety. Mecca, Saudi Arabia. The city of Mecca is literally going underwater due to abnormally heavy rains. In a few hours fell a month's norm of precipitation, and now the streets, houses and cars are in a flooded state. Cars are literally drowning in rainwater and many have to abandon them on the road to save their lives. Because of this, meteorologists have declared a yellow weather danger level, and emergency services are asking locals to be careful and cautious over the next few days, as bad weather is expected to continue until the end of the week. At the moment, there is no exact data on the deaths or casualties. Tuluan, Irkutsk region. The city of Tuluan in the Irkutsk region is freezing. At the weekend, the boiler house broke down, and already 3 days 4 microdistricts remain without heating. At the same time, it is below 40 degrees Celsius outside. In the apartments of residents, the temperature does not rise above 15 degrees. In this regard, the city has declared a state of high readiness. School children were transferred to remote learning, and in kindergartens there are on-duty groups. The authorities promised that by evening the boiler house will work. However, if this does not happen, temporary accommodation centers and schools will be deployed. In connection with the incident, the prosecutor's office of the Irkutsk region is conducting an inspection of the housing and utilities sector. Queensland, Australia. tropical cyclone Jasper has hit the state of Queensland. Thousands of people in coastal towns along Australia's Great Barrier Reef have been left without power and are sheltering in their homes. More than 90 people were in evacuation centers. The cyclone is now slowly bearing down on the town of Wujal, about 115 kilometers northeast of the popular tourist city of Cairns. The local weather bureau said the elements have caused wind gusts of up to 140 kilometers per hour and large waves that pose a risk of life-threatening flash flooding. Authorities upgraded the storm to the second category out of 5 on Wednesday, December 13th. Jasper is expected to weaken as it crosses land, but authorities warn it could strengthen again next week as it crosses the Gulf of Carpentaria and heads towards Darwin. Our planet. In a report released Friday, Whales in Hot Water, the non-governmental organization Whale and Dolphin Conservation warns that warming oceans are having a bad effect on a large number of species. And their habitat is changing so rapidly that the animals are competing or even fighting with each other. Rising temperatures have led to an increased proliferation of toxin-producing algae. The sudden mass mortality is most likely caused by algal blooms, the organization said. According to the report, at least 343 whales died in Chile in 2015, with more than two-thirds of them found to have extremely high concentrations of paralyzing toxins. There is evidence that stocks of krill, one of the most important food sources for whales, are dwindling. The amount of krill is being depleted by industrial fishing and rising sea temperatures. Due to the lack of food, marine mammals may store less fat and no longer have enough energy for seasonal migration. It has also been observed that many marine mammals no longer migrate to warmer waters to mate. The result, fewer young. The report also calls on governments and industry to ban destructive fishing practices.